Today on Monkey Life, a heart-stopping moment for the team when something goes wrong as gibbon Kitty is prepared for a health check.
Still really low. We need a bit of atropine.
We have a heartbeat.
Yeah, but it's very slow.
Saki monkey Chloe meets an over-ardent suitor.
Not the initial love at first sight I was hoping for.
And flirty females try and put capuchin Winslow off his dinner. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Hello, missus. Hi, you. Are you a good girl?
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 22 different species. At the Gibbon complex, staff have become concerned about the appearance of 19-year-old gibbon Kitty. She came to the park in 2001, after being orphaned at a rescue centre in Taiwan. 2 years ago, food-loving Kitty was a little overweight, so the team decided to alter her diet. Gradually, the excess pounds came off, and she slimmed down. But in the last few months, she's had a dramatic weight loss, despite interventions from staff to help.
Now, Kitty, we're not really sure what's going on with her. She's starting to look really quite thin. You can see a lot of her bones starting to poke through, and her face looks very thin as well. We're also seeing quite a change in her temperament as well. I mean, Kitty's always been quite a volatile character towards certain members of primate care staff, but for some of us, she's actually quite a sweet and sort of docile animal, and she's quite friendly, but she's actually aggressive quite a lot to all of us. We're not sure what's actually going on with her. We have noticed that she does have a problem with at least one of her canine teeth, and we're not sure if perhaps that's what's causing the issue. So we want to have a look at that, and again, just take some blood samples and see if there's something else going on there.
It should be straightforward. Kat is going to anaesthetise Kitty with a hand injection, and then once she's down, Thazar and the vet team will give her a quick check-over and take some bloods. Because it's a simple procedure, it can all be done in Kitty's bedroom. Kat administers the anaesthetic drug, and after a few minutes, it takes effect. But something's wrong. Kat calls Cara over to take a look. And immediately there's concern. Kitty has stopped breathing. Cara calls in the emergency. Vet Thazar is already on his way over to the gibbon house and arrives in seconds. He begins to give the unresponsive gibbon CPR.
Give it another one.
Thazar works quickly, with the worried team looking on. It's an incredibly tense and worrying few minutes.
Has she still got a heartbeat?
Yeah.
But eventually, Kitty's heart starts beating again, very slowly.
Still really low. We need a bit of atropine.
We have a heartbeat.
Yeah, but it's very slow.
Thazar has picked up something worrying.
This animal has been knocked out before.
Not since she was 4 years old.
No, long time.
And she was still a child.
Well, she's got a heart murmur.
A heart murmur.
With Kitty now stable, Thazar decides to take her to the hospital, where they can quickly take bloods and do x-rays in a controlled environment.
Dead body? Well done. Okay.
Kitty is quickly checked over.
But this animal is skin and bones, eh?
She's like an old lady.
This animal has got something, it's got a disease, and well, it's got a heart murmur as well, so we are going to find it out.
Okay.
At the moment is the heart rate is fast and she's breathing okay, it's comfortable.
Kitty's heart rate has gone from very slow to rapid. Thesar isn't sure if there's an underlying cause or if the anaesthetic and the adrenaline she's been given have caused the increase in rhythm.
Here you are. You've got plenty of blood.
Oh, wow.
A series of x-rays might give him a better idea of what's going on.
Okay.
The initial review doesn't show anything conclusive. Thesar will need to study them more closely later.
Okay, and I think we'll wake it up, eh?
Okay.
His main concern now is bringing Kitty round from the anaesthetic, and that's proving difficult.
Come on, babes. Kitty. Come on, Kit. Come on, Kitty. No. Kitty.
Finally, to everyone's relief, Kitty shows signs of waking up.
Right, okay, we've got Blink. Dessa, just so you know, she's coming too.
Is he waking up?
Yeah.
Good, well done.
It's been a stressful hour for everyone, and they're still no nearer to discovering the cause of Kitty's condition.
Yeah, I'm sure there's something going on, something a bit sinister, I'm afraid. I will potentially treat that hard. I will potentially treat with painkillers, but I need to wait for blood testing first. This is the thing. The results of that blood test is key.
Kids.
The team will have to wait for the lab results before they can move forward with a plan to treat Kitty. For now, she's returned to her bedroom to recover. One of the biggest challenges for the primate care team who look after the park's primates is keeping them busy, interested and active, and none more so than the orangutans. These lovable great apes can be innately lazy. Trying to get them off the ground and moving around, when in captivity, is extremely challenging. The orangutan team at Monkey World are constantly trying to devise new ways to entice them up high, as they would be in the wild. In the last few days, they've been refurbishing Gordon's enclosure, adding more hoses as walkways to link the climbing frames, plus extra cargo nets. This will enable staff to place more of the primates' food up high and off the ground. Today, Gordon, his mum Amy and Xiao Lan will get to try out their new apparatus for the first time. And as an added bonus, they're being given fresh corn on the cob as an extra incentive to come out and climb. Gordon's first out. He knows there's something different, but can't quite put his finger on it. No such problem for Xiao Lan, who collects her corn from one of the high platforms. Gordon's decided he's going to test out the new hoses first, before settling down for breakfast. Male orangutans are the biggest arboreal mammals in the world, and Gordon weighs in at around 100 kilograms. The big male is 21 years old, and his gravity-defying tightrope act is breathtaking to watch. His mum Amy is normally content to spend time on the ground. At 35 years of age, she's probably the oldest orangutan at the park, and although fit and healthy, she takes life at her own pace, which is normally nice and slow. But today she's making an exception. She's actually climbing for her food, even if it is the fruit in the kongs only a few feet off the ground. But it's still good to see. Xiao Lan is a much more agile and active female and has no trouble climbing the new equipment in search of food. The addition of the new hoses, together with the added attraction of fresh corn, seems to have worked. All three orangutans have demonstrated they can be active and agile when it suits them. It's a lovely, warm day, and over at the Capuchin complex, Winslow's gang of 18 are soaking up the sunshine. He's been leader of this group since taking over from Tao just over a year ago. And after a slightly shaky start, he's now full of confidence and relishing his top spot. Not surprising when all the girls seem to adore him. Today, the group are going to be given a cooling treat. These pine cones are filled with yogurt, oats and berries, and have been frozen solid.
Come on then, guys!
All favourite Capuchin snacks, but they'll have to work a little bit harder to get these treats.
We've frozen the pine cone safe. It's been a really hot, sunny weekend and everyone's getting a bit hot and bothered, so it's nice to have some nice cool treats, but it also means it takes them a little bit longer to get hold of the raisins and the oats and things that are hidden inside it. It's all frozen inside this nice yogurty case. The Capuchins are brilliant at manipulating treats. They've got really nimble little hands. They can get into things really easily and they're really clever, so they won't stop until they've got all the treats out.
There are plenty of the frozen pine cones to go around, so all of the group should get a chance to join in and enjoy this frozen feast. But not if Babe has anything to do with it. The high-ranking female has already managed to collect 3 cones and is making short work of them. Ruby's keeping a careful eye out for any potential cone snatchers as she tucks into hers. Norman and Fifi have got a real taste for this yummy treat. Capuchin's hands are incredibly dexterous, so they can easily use their fingers to pick out all the tasty bits stuck between the pine scales. Low-ranking Ruby has been joined by Daisy, significantly higher in the pecking order, but still happy enough to eat side by side. Winslow is on the lookout for a yogurt-filled cone in the long grass. But his task is made a little bit more difficult by the flirty females following him around like love-struck teenagers. Today, it's Joanne and Bubbles who just can't leave him alone. Wherever Winslow goes, they follow. It's getting to the stage where he's literally having to fight them off.
Winslow has a lot of attention from the females, being the boss and being quite a handsome male. They all like him when they come into season. At the moment, he's got 2 females in season, and they are starting to drive him a little bit nuts. They keep running up to him, pulling his tail and sort of grinning in his face and squeaking. Winslow is pretty patient with the girls. He does occasionally get a bit annoyed and sort of go to swipe them away. I think having someone squeaking in your face all day is a little bit unnerving after a while.
While Winslow has his hands full managing all this female adulation, the rest of the group have enjoyed getting their fill of the tasty frozen delicacies. The pine cones have been a hit. But for Winslow, it's more a case of females pining after him. For the last week, the park's newest arrivals, white-faced Saki monkeys Desmond and Tutu, have been getting acquainted with their new home and surroundings. At the same time, the primate care team have been keeping a close eye on them, monitoring their health and behaviours. But this morning, they're about to come face to face with the reason for their move to the park. The pair are going to meet the lonely female needing their companionship.
Today is a really exciting morning for all of us because we're going to move Chloe up to meet Desmond and Tutu. So we're really happy about it because she hasn't had a Saki friend for a while since we lost Jethro, and I think she'll really enjoy it and she'll be really glad of new friends. So we're really excited to see how it all goes.
Since Chloe's Saki partner Jethro passed away, she's been living with a group of squirrel monkeys. But it became obvious she needed companionship of her own kind. Now it's time for her to meet Desmond and his son Tutu in the hope they'll make a happy family trio.
The best outcome is that the 3 of them will just live happily together and they'll be content and there'll be lots of grooming and they'll sleep in the same area together and just that they'll be a little family unit, really. But we just don't know. Whenever we do an introduction, there's always an element of nerves because you're not quite sure, but I think it's going to go well. Hey, Chloe. Good morning. How are you, precious one?
But first, Chloe needs to be boxed up.
Good girl. It's not so bad in there, is it?
She's going to be introduced to Desmond and Tutu in their bedroom and enclosure, which has been adapted especially for them in part of the new Marmoset complex.
It's a good day. It's going to be exciting.
To keep the introduction as stress-free as possible, the trio are kept apart at first, in next-door bedrooms, but they can see and hear each other.
Good boy. What do you think, Tutu? Can you see her?
After 30 minutes of calm, Karen decides it's time for all three to physically meet.
Nicely, guys.
The sight of a female is an exciting prospect for Desmond, who rushes straight in.
Oh, his lip smacking.
Chloe's immediately on the defensive and issues an alarm call warning him off.
Oh, you're okay.
Desmond's not giving up, and Chloe has to dodge his advances.
Not the initial love at first sight I was hoping for.
But when younger male Tutu arrives on the scene, things start to calm down.
Oh, Chloe, another one. Ready-made family for you, Chloe.
In fact, it becomes one big love-in, as all three Sakis start to greet and sniff each other, a sure sign they're starting to relax in each other's company.
Are you happy, Chloe?
It's everything Karen was hoping for.
It's going okay at the minute. When we first put her in and opened up, there was quite a lot of alarm calling. Everyone was a bit frantic. But it's actually settled down really nicely. And they've been sniffing at each other, sniffing each other's faces. Tutu's finally got in on the action, and they've all been sat nicely together. So yeah, it's going really well at the minute. It's really nice to watch.
With the introduction now going well, Karen decides to let them all have access to the outside enclosure. This will also allow them that bit of extra space if it all gets too much. But she needn't have worried.
It's really good now. I may have shed a little tear of happiness, so we'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed, everything continues to go as it is.
It's been 3 months since Alison went to Lebanon to collect Benny and Nia, two rare guenons. They've both settled well into life at the park. The pair were illegally stolen from the forests of Benin and confiscated by the authorities at Beirut Airport. Animals Lebanon, a rescue organisation in the region, took over their care, before contacting Alison for help. Today, Jason Myers, who runs the centre in Lebanon, has flown to the UK for his first look at the pair in their new home.
Yeah, it's really amazing. We've had them in our care for more than half a year, and now to see them in such a setup that they're happy, they're running around, playing in trees for the first time, really, since they were trafficked from Africa. And here you have a proper setup for them, and they have some friends in their enclosure too, so it's rewarding to see, and it's great that they've moved on now. They're happy, they're playing. You can see in their body, their positioning, their posture, everything, that they're doing so much better. So it's really great to see them like this.
It's now been confirmed that Benny and Nia are in fact red-bellied, white-throated guenons. But 3 months ago, Jason didn't have a clue what he had.
I lived in Africa for quite a few years, and I've worked with a variety of primates, but this species specifically, no, and it doesn't seem that there's that much known about this individual species. Even trying to figure out what species they were originally, we determined that from a picture. And the picture looked kind of goofy, but it reminded us exactly of Benny. The characteristics, the facial gesture, just the way this one drawing was made, it looked exactly like him. So yes, having to try a lot of things, see what they would like, what they dislike, and even in terms of food, it was really quite standoffish at first. So they had a lot to learn, but so did we in caring for them. But yeah, it's great.
But the reason for Jason's visit isn't just to check up on the guenons. Last night, he arrived with another rescued primate, this time a Bengal slow loris. Alison flew out to Beirut to help sort out the paperwork and travelled back with Jason, and Nora, as she's now been called. the female is going to join the park's already established Loris group. She was discovered after being advertised for sale on social media via a pet shop in Beirut. After investigations by Animals Lebanon, the Loris was eventually confiscated by the authorities and cared for by Jason and his team.
She actually shared my office with me for those 5-month periods. So it was, for me, a great time. You did your work for the day. Around 7 o'clock, she would wake up and we would have our evening meal. She explored my office with me for a few hours and then back to bed for her. She's a quiet animal. She doesn't smell. She doesn't make noise. She was a very good guest in my office. So.
Still very young, Nora weighed in at just 140 grams. She's put on weight since then, and now, following the agreement of the Lebanese authorities, she's been able to move to the park's Loris complex. For Jason, seeing the rescued animals recovering and being given a second chance in life makes all the hard work worthwhile.
I think this is the part which keeps us going, because our job in many ways is dealing with all the very negative things. We don't have a nice facility. We don't get to hold animals. We don't get to see that aspect of it. We get to fight the smugglers, fight the traffickers, have these court cases, do big campaigns, having to call on politicians for help. It's all the very difficult work to finally take an animal into your care. And often that entails somebody suing you back, threats, police, lawsuits, courts, all back at you. So to finally be able to get an animal here, to see them happy, that's the part which kind of keeps you going to want to fight for the next animal. If it wasn't for this happy stuff, it's very difficult to keep being motivated to have these fights.
Next time on Monkey Life, a new baby Woolly enters the world, and first-time mum Ava is bowled over by her new arrival.
She seems to be really happy with the baby, completely in love with it, and just happy spending some time with her little bundle of joy.
And sadness at the passing of one of the park's most iconic characters. Today on Monkey Life, a new baby Woolly enters the world, and first-time mum Ava is bowled over by her new arrival.
She seems to be really happy with the baby, completely in love with it, and just happy spending some time with her little bundle of joy.
Renovation work at the Pavilion is nearing completion, and the chimps get to try out their new route to the outside. With varying results.
Life's become very dull for this group, and it needs a bit of livening up.
And sadness at the passing of one of the park's most iconic characters. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Now she's starting to look around. I think we're going to make good progress.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 22 different species. It's been an eventful night at Lavar's group of woolly monkeys. Staff arrived early to discover that overnight, 6-year-old Ava had given birth, and it seems she's already smitten with her new arrival.
She seems to be completely in love with it, very protective already, which is great, which is what you'd hope with a first-time mum or with any mum. So she's just taking herself away. She is letting the others come near her, but if they're getting a bit too much or if she's been having a sleep and they've snuck up on her, she has given them a bit of a warning shout. But other than that, she's been really calm and just happy spending some time with her little bundle of joy.
The birth was caught on one of the bedroom's CCTV cameras during the night. A close look shows the rest of the group were awake and curious as the newborn entered the world. It's yet to be determined if it's a boy or a girl. And so far, things are going smoothly. For such a young first-time mum, Ava seems to be coping well. But of course, she's had a perfect role model in her own mum, Urema, who has successfully raised 5 children. And more recently, there's been the example set by her half-sister Zingu. Ava's been able to watch and learn as she's mothered her little one, Layla.
I'm so happy that Ava's actually carrying this baby. It's always a worry when you know they're pregnant, particularly with the woolly monkeys, any stress that they come into contact with. But seeing how naturally it seems to be coming to her, we are hopeful that it'll carry on being great.
As they do with all new mums, the team are keeping a close eye on Ava and her baby. They want to make sure the baby is gripping on tightly, suckling, and urinating and defecating properly.
It does all seem to be quite natural for her. She has cleaned the baby up. She's keeping the baby nice and high on her chest. And when the baby is rooting around, she's not batting it away. She is making sure that the baby is comfortable and supporting the baby when she's walking around. So again, all very natural instincts and great to see in a first-time mum.
And the staff aren't the only ones interested in the newborn. The rest of the group are inquisitive onlookers. Until there's a bit of fun to be had, of course. With 2 fully grown males in the group, Manny and older, more experienced dad, Levar, the team can't be 100% sure who the father of the new baby is. They'll have to check dates and records of when they saw Ava being mated. For now, they're trying to keep the group's routine as normal as possible so as not to unsettle Ava and the baby. The Woolies have been given access to the outside tunnel, but because it's only been a few hours, the team have prevented the new mum reaching the outdoor enclosure. While Ava is in the tunnel, the staff can observe her closely, and they're looking out for something in particular.
I haven't 100% seen suckling yet. She sits in quite a funny way and wraps her tail around her, so I'm just being overly cautious, really, that the baby can get a route to the nipple. As it's the first 24 hours, it can be critical, but I just like to get a 100% look and make sure that it's all going well.
Hopefully, the team will soon see the baby feeding. But until then, Claire and the rest of the team will be watching closely for any signs of distress from the youngster, and keeping everything crossed that Ava turns out to be a natural mum just like her own. For the past few months, a major building project has been going on at the park. Paddy's Pavilion has been undergoing a substantial refurbishment. It's one of the oldest buildings at the park, and having housed a host of rowdy chimps over the years, it's in need of renovation.
Paddy's group has changed. It's no longer Paddy's group. Things are evolving, and we have to evolve with the chimps. And it was time to take the initiative and actually refurbish the back bedrooms because it still had the original roof. So the roof's being replaced. Bedrooms have been expanded a bit and refurbished. And a brand new, I suppose we called the original one the Tunnel of Fun. So not only does it give the chimps in the end of the day more access around their whole facility, but for right now it means that we can manage them in and out of their enclosure and into the pavilion while the builders carry on the refurbishments in the back.
But essential maintenance isn't the only reason for the building work. Alison has exciting plans.
I'm hoping for the introduction of a new chimpanzee into this group as well. So this is the start of the beginning of our new transition here for what was Paddy's group, a new future for the group and for new individuals that might be joining them.
Today, the established group of chimps are going to test drive the tunnel for the very first time.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
But how they'll react to something new, no one is quite sure. Female Chatter leads the way, with Athena close behind. Kathy and Lola aren't so confident. They're a bit wary of the new tunnel. It's left to high-ranking male Buster to show them how it's done. Cindy finds this new walkway to the outside all a bit exciting. But not everyone is 100% convinced. While Chatter is happily collecting and eating her breakfast in the enclosure, Clin and Kathy are still to make the leap of faith. Some of these chimps have lived in the pavilions for almost 30 years, and not a lot has altered in that time.
This group of chimpanzees is actually our oldest group. We've got a bunch of sort of geriatrics in here that we're having to now watch their health care, their future, how they're going to develop. And really, you know, for them, you can see a lot of the time they're sort of lounging around, picking their fingernails. Life's become very dull for this group, and it needs a bit of livening up.
And that's the plan. Over the next few weeks, along with the changes in facilities, there's going to be a whole new dynamic for everyone involved.
We're ready to start adding new faces to this group on into future. The chimp group needs to have some life breathed back into it now. So, you know, for all of the primate care staff, especially the newer members of the team, it's going to be a bit of a scary, daunting thing, but it's what we do here. It's what the park was originally designed for, to give a future and a life to those individuals who have had their families stolen from them.
The first new chimp on Alison's radar is an adult female, Toprish. She was stolen from her family in the wild at a very young age and kept illegally as a pet before being abandoned at a zoo just outside Istanbul. She's in desperate need of companionship of her own kind. Alison has agreed to bring her back to Monkey World, where hopefully she'll join Paddy's group. The primate care team aren't underestimating the challenges she'll face.
She's going to have to learn a lot of chimp politics to fit in. She's going to need to learn who's in charge and how she needs to react to the dominant females in here. I think she will find it easier with the boys. The boys will probably accept a new female much quicker than the females will, but we'll see a lot of changes within the group when she arrives.
Life for the chimps and their carers is about to get very interesting indeed. Over at the orangutan nursery, the group are all outside and making the most of the fabulous weather. But they've got their work cut out tackling today's breakfast. The fruit has been put into a number of kongs and placed all around the enclosure. And as usual, it's O'Sheen who's making sure she gets first pick of what's on offer.
Life's very fun in the nursery at the moment. There's a lot of energy going on, and the little kids, Bulu, Mata, Rika, and Mimi, all their climbing skills and confidence has come on leaps and bounds over the last few months or so. So there's lots and lots of rustling going on. Mimi's also taken it upon herself to get quite a good little relationship going on with Jin at the moment, almost looks up to him like a big brother, and she's getting involved with some of the gentler rustling as well. But they're all getting on fantastic at the moment.
There are two species of orangutans in the nursery. O'Sheen, Jin and Mimi are all Bornean orangutans, while Bulu, Rika and Sylvester are Sumatran. And the most obvious difference is their colour.
You can see that the Sumatrans just are generally a lot lighter in coloration with the hair, particularly around the sideburns and the beard area. And as they mature of age, the males have this absolutely striking beard. It almost looks like they've bleached their hair. Whereas the Borneans, they do generally stay a lot darker, but always if you look around that sideburn beard area, you see that lighter hair. That's that telltale sign that you're looking at a Sumatran.
The nursery at Monkey World is the official European creche for orphaned orangutan youngsters. It provides them with a home and a family where they can grow up living with others of their own kind. The park no longer actively breeds their orangutans, but does participate in the European breeding programme. Along with the majority of species on the planet, orangutan youngsters grow up and leave their family unit, and it's no different here in the nursery. The two older boys, Jin and Sylvester, are adolescent teenagers, and Jin in particular is starting to make the transition to adult male.
Jin is getting to the age now where he's a little bit big to be in the nursery. All of those hormones are really rushing around in him and he's getting a lot bigger. You can see that neck muscle really starting to form on him. And adult males in the orangutan world, they just don't mix with other males. It's very difficult to deal with certain situations like that compared to the social groups that you see at Monkey World. And he's getting to that stage that he is going to have to move on.
That may be in the very near future. Monkey World has had great success rearing youngsters and then finding them new homes and groups across Europe as part of the breeding programme. Sisters Xiaoning and Dinda are a perfect example. They both moved to Rostock Zoo in Germany and have since given birth to healthy daughters, and they're proving to be fantastic mums.
Even though they weren't taught that maternal instinct by their mothers originally, being around the other orangutans in the nursery crash obviously shows that the whole thing behind it is working.
It's been a desperate few weeks over at Sally's house. The team, led by Jeremy, have been caring for the matriarch of the former nursery group around the clock, since her health began to dramatically deteriorate. Sadly, despite all their efforts, this morning, with the help of the local vet, they had to let her go, and she passed away.
We did everything we could for Sally. There was nothing else that could be done. I'm rock solid on that. Sally had kidney failure. There's nothing we could do to have treated it, reversed it, changed it. So in the end, Sally's passing was with her family. Every night she was with all of the other guys. She was with Jeremy 24/7, which, to be honest, if you were able to speak to Sal, she probably preferred his company than all of the rest of her mob. And just another significant character passing on from the park.
The person who knew and understood Sally more than anyone else was Jeremy. He knew immediately something wasn't right. As a result, the vets were quickly called in to run a number of tests.
That first blood test confirmed exactly what we thought. She was profoundly anemic, but the real devastating blow at that point was her kidneys were failing.
All the team could do was make Sally as comfortable as possible and hope for a miracle they suspected would never come. Jeremy spent most of Sally's last days by her side.
Yes, tell you this, what 90% of our job is, it's the Florence Nightingale approach. And that's really, that's all we got. Look at that. Is that all right? Oops, sorry, I don't want that. Is that better than probiotics or worse or somewhere in between? Huh? I got to the point now, if she wants it, she can have it. I don't care what it is.
Jeremy spent 25 years getting to know and understand Sally's unique character.
She's like a cast of characters, and she doesn't actually deserve some of the images that she's got, because Sally is unashamedly, like me, totally and utterly selfish. Now, being selfish spitefully at your cost, oh no, that's not nice. But looking after number one, there's nothing wrong with that, thank you very much, as a survival and a general life plan. And that's Sally, she does what she wants to do, which makes her potentially not acceptable socially, which is why she does struggle with other people of her own age group. You know, so, you know, she's not got a lot to give. She doesn't meet in the middle.
Sally arrived at Monkey World in 1993. She was thought to be 4 to 5 years old. Once it became clear to the team she wasn't keen on adult chimp company and didn't like being part of large groups, she moved to the nursery, where she remained ever after.
What's that? Here, we've got here. Never mind me, let's say hello to Seamus. See, he said hello to you. Hello.
It was here that she found her forte and became the backbone of the group.
Horrible monkey. Oh, I like you, Sally. I always like you.
In those early days, a large number of young chimps were rescued from Spanish beaches, where they were used as photographers' props, as well as from the pet trade and laboratories. Almost all ended up in Sally's care at one stage or another.
I think Sally played a really important role in those individuals that joined her group. She was the one that they would typically meet first, and obviously Sally worked out that was quite good from a selfish point of view, because it often involved some Jeremy time and some treats. But she was a good starting point, you know, and a way that you could introduce those youngsters to a bigger chimp. And introduce them to that concept, and somebody that was around to keep all the little ones in check. So, you know, of course, it wouldn't have worked so well without her.
There you go. You couldn't wish for better than that, could you? I mean, she is so special.
Sally assumed the role of adoptive mum, teaching the youngsters how to behave like chimps and encouraging them to play and enjoy the outdoors. She became pivotal in helping them overcome their traumatic backgrounds and start a new life with others of their own kind.
Sally was instrumental in the care and rehabilitation of so many individuals over the years at the park. At some point, I should sit down and count them all up. It's huge. It's huge how many went through her care, old and young. She accepted them. She took them on and was kind and led the way and showed them all how to become chimpanzees again, and was just a brilliant, caring individual.
So Sally's a professional at this. It's what you do, isn't it, Sal? And this is going well. Look at Pip's face. I mean, she can't get over what's this wonderful animal. Look at it.
Sally definitely was a very unique character. She kind of had that balance between showing them the affection that they needed. Some individuals she would carry, but also being the disciplinarian as well, which is really important because obviously when they started life in the adult groups, there was some telling off to do, and they'd had an experience of that in kind of a smaller, safer environment.
Come on.
Having Jeremy there to be able to take a youngster in with Sally, who could be viewed as a large and intimidating character, was critical.
Here you go, Sal. Here you go.
I always say it's, you know, not possible to consider yourself an unofficial chimpanzee or part of their community. I don't view it that way. They know that we're different, that we're outsiders, but if ever there were an unofficial member of that group, it is Jeremy. And their tag teaming of each other in terms of rehabilitating chimpanzees, I mean, both of them deserve an award for sure.
There's no doubt that in her 25 years in residence, she became one of the park's most iconic characters and well-known faces. But even more than that, she represents so much of what Monkey World stands for. Her legacy will live on with the care team and the chimps she helped along the way.
We'll always miss Sally, and we'll always remember, you know, the amazing chimp that she was and the significant contribution that she made to the rehabilitation of the chimps at Monkey World. But we carry on for the guys that are still with us.
She was one of those characters that, you know, symbolized everything we do here at the park, which is to try and give those chimpanzees that are confiscated, that are stolen from the wild, try and give them some form of natural life back again. And Sally was a key player in our primate care staff. So yeah, she's going to be missed by both the chimps and all of the people here at the park.
You got your work cut out there, Sal. Bandit at 2 o'clock. You know how you get a song going on in your mind? I've got 25 years living next door to Sally on my mind all the time.
Next time on Monkey Life. Alison and vet John are in Turkey to collect a young chimp previously stolen from the wild and kept as a pet.
I know. This is a big leap of faith. I know. Yeah, good girl.
Plus, back at the park, it's sweet treat time for the stumpies. Today on Monkey Life, Alison and wildlife vet John are in Turkey to collect a young chimp previously stolen from the wild and kept as a pet.
I know. This is a big leap of faith. I know. Yeah, good girl.
And the trip reunites Alison with an old friend.
It's just nice to see that he's turned into quite a nice lad and is being looked after so well.
Plus, back at the park, it's sweet treat time for the stumpies. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Now we just have to get them loaded up in the van and we're back to Dorset. So far, so good.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 22 different species. The Sea of Marmara, an inland water situated entirely within the borders of Turkey. Alison and wildlife vet John Lewis have flown 1,500 miles to get here on a special rescue mission. They're heading 50 miles south of Istanbul to the Faruk Yalçın Zoo. A while ago, the zoo contacted Alison about a young female chimp in their care called Toprish. She'd been brought into the country via the illegal black market trade and kept as a pet until the zoo stepped in to offer her a temporary home.
Here.
Alison is here to bring the chimp back to Monkey World, where she can live out her days with others of her own kind.
Toprish is like quite a few other chimpanzees that I've been aware of over the years. She was smuggled from the wild. Our information is that she was actually sold by a Syrian animal dealer into the pet trade here in Turkey. So she was kept by a private family, which we've heard of before, and kept as a pet until she became a problem. She's been here for 2 to 3 years now, and long overdue for having a family of her own kind.
The Faruk Yalçın Zoo was set up 28 years ago and now cares for more than 3,000 animals, including some species under threat of extinction. They do have chimpanzees of their own, but unfortunately, they don't have the facilities or experience to introduce new chimps into an already established group. Because of this, Toprish has been living on her own, although in the same ape house, so she has been able to see and hear other chimpanzees.
Oh, skinny girl.
Alison is keen to get her first good look at Toprish, who at around 8 years of age is still a relatively young female.
I know. This is a big leap of faith. I know. Not, oh, you wanted to go for the eyes. Yeah. No, I'm not really on for that. Yeah, good girl. Beautiful young lady. A little bit smaller than sort of I could tell from the pictures. It's always hard to sort of judge and so on. But, you know, clearly desperate for attention, wants to engage, has had the attention and company of I don't know how many people here at the zoo. But, you know, like any of the chimpanzees, most important thing from them is companionship of their own kind. So really, yeah, we need to get you back and doing all of this with the other chimps. Do I have something up my nose? You need to get right up in there. I know, you're a good girl. You're a good girl. We've got a long road ahead with her, but it's the right thing to do for her future. She's only young. She needs a family.
The initial meeting is going well, and wildlife vet John Lewis is also able to cast his eye over Toprish. It will be his important and potentially difficult job to anaesthetise Toprish in order for the team to get her safely into her transport box.
Whether we can hand inject her, I don't know. I mean, she looks as if she would be trainable because she lets the keepers scratch her when her arm is pushed against the frame or even her backside. So that would be possible, I'm sure, to hand inject her. But she's, yeah, nice calm little chimp, which for me, that's good.
John's main objective is to keep the move as stress-free as possible for the young chimp. A hand injection, rather than the more traumatic blowpipe method, is the best solution, and he's cautiously optimistic.
Does she get very emotional about things ever? Okay, so
No,
maybe she would take the injection.
Well, we can discuss it in there, but this is very promising.
And you're pinching.
Poking, finding muscle groups. Oh, there's a bit of bone.
Oh, good girl.
We'll see, we'll see. That's a good start, girl, isn't it? Yeah, let's try it. It's better than having a blowpipe.
The travel box to transport Toprish back to the UK arrived in Turkey from Monkey World last week. But Alison still wants to check everything is secure for the long journey ahead.
No, rock solid. Feeling pretty happy with that.
Everything seems in order. Alison has another mission in mind at the zoo. She wants to see someone she first met almost 20 years ago.
A little bit.
Back then, Alison and her late husband Jim were in Istanbul to help assist the authorities find and confiscate several baby chimpanzees, illegally smuggled from the wild and on sale in pet shops. Garrett was a very young chimp being offered for sale at a spice market. He was confiscated by the authorities. But instead of coming back to the park with Jim and Alison, he was placed in the care of the zoo. This is the first time she's seen him since.
This is just fantastic. I was sort of hopeful and wondering how Gareth and Romeo had fared in life because I hadn't really heard or known. I don't know. It's just nice to see that he's turned into quite a nice lad and is being looked after so well. At the same time, you have to balance it out with the tragedy that he should still be with his family group, hey? I know. You're a bit of a tough dude. You're a bit of a tough dude.
It's been a long but successful day. Tomorrow, Alison and John will return to spend more time with Toprish in an attempt to gain her trust and help make the move back to Dorset as smooth as possible. Summer has well and truly arrived at the park, and over at Hananya's enclosure, the chimps are feeling the heat. The stifling temperatures have put the brakes on this normally energetic group. Everything is being conducted at a far slower pace. Even the morning patrol is a sedate affair, with leader Hananya having to pause to see where the rest of his troop have got to. The arrival of breakfast does liven things up a bit, for a while. High-ranking female Johnny grabs far more than her fair share of watermelon. But being at the top of the pecking order makes her confident no one will challenge her. Zeynep has definitely managed to get some of her 5 a day, leaving Hananya and Valerie with the leftovers. The intense heat is all too much for Shamak. He heads to the pond to quench his thirst. But there's one member who's not letting the temperature bother her, and that's 5-year-old Thelma. Even in the sweltering heat, she's still a bundle of energy. Cadging lifts off anyone happy to comply, and enticing the adults into full-on play sessions. Today, it's Arthur's turn, but he doesn't mind. He absolutely adores Thelma and takes the responsibility of caring for her very seriously. Hananya's number 2, Simon, joins in the fun. He's another who's assumed the role of Thelma's protector. And the relationship between all 3 is great to see. Thelma is growing up fast, and things will soon start to change for this young lady. But for now, she's making the most of being spoiled. The rest of the group are relaxing in whatever shade they can find. And eventually, even Thelma's energy levels run dry, and she takes time to rest and recharge. Alison and vet John Lewis are back at the Faruk Yalcin Zoo, 50 miles south of Istanbul in Turkey, following a successful first visit.
So, just coming in for day number 2 at the zoo, and today is John's veterinary day. We got to check out all of the gear and make sure everything's ready and see the chimps again.
They're here on a second visit to see young female chimp Toprish, with the intention of taking her back to Monkey World. It's hoped she'll integrate into what was Paddy's group and finally be able to live with her own kind. 8-year-old Toprish has been at the zoo for more than 2 years. She was handed over when her private owner, who kept her as a house pet, couldn't handle her anymore. She's fairly calm around people, so John is hoping she'll take an injection by hand when he has to anaesthetize her to put her in the travel box. But he's preparing for all eventualities.
That's blowpipe. What's your blowpipe like? Oh. And is she afraid of that?
No.
Really? I wonder why. Why wouldn't you be afraid of someone with a pipe like this?
Tomorrow morning, when we're going to move Toprish, it's a really early morning start. So, you know, it'll be dark outside and everything. And we just want to make sure that all of the gear is ready, set, and proper, because there's, you know, a few procedures that John's going to do, and anaesthetizing her is always a risky situation.
With the drugs and equipment checked and prepared ready for tomorrow's move, John wants to see how Toprish will react when presented with a needle and syringe. It'll be far less stressful for her if she allows a hand injection rather than needing to be darted with a blowpipe.
We're in chimp.
Yeah.
And then coming out. If she does that tomorrow and she doesn't react to the ketamine, we're in business. Good gal. Good gal.
It's very encouraging. Toprish is calm and relaxed in human company. She's never lived with other chimps and has always been cared for by people, which might be the reason. Her new start at Monkey World in a large group of adult chimps will be a massive lifestyle change. Recently, she has been able to enjoy some interaction with other chimps. Her keeper and the zoo's vet, Hilal, have introduced her to 2 baby chimps being hand-reared at the zoo. Every few days, she's been able to play with them in the outside enclosure.
It's nice to see how Toprish interacts and relates with people without any bars or cage situation. Also nice to see how she interacts and deals with the young chimpanzees. Now, there aren't any youngsters in Cindy's group right now, but it's just good to know that she's not terrified or frightened of chimpanzees, although adults might be a different story. But this is really nice and makes me feel a whole lot better, happier, and optimistic about the future for Toprish and how she's going to fit into chimp society at Monkey World. So, really pleased. Good day.
For Hilal, saying goodbye is going to be a huge wrench, but she knows it's for the best.
I will feel very, very sad. I don't want to let her to go, but it's going to be better for her, only for her. I don't think myself. And if she stays here, she's not going to be happy.
Tomorrow is going to be a big day for everyone involved. But for Toprish, it's the first day of the rest of her life. Back at the park's Stumpy enclosure, staff are preparing a seasonal afternoon meal for the 10 primates who make up the group. Freshly picked corn on the cob, still on the stalk. So the primates will have to work just that little bit harder to get to it.
We've actually put quite a lot of corn out today. With the stumpies, there's a really strict hierarchy, and we just want to make sure that all the individuals get enough corn. So we've scattered it about through the whole enclosure. We've put some high, some low. They're not very good tree climbers, so that's why some of it's on the ground. And yeah, just to make sure that everyone, the high rankers and the low rankers, all get a shout out at the corn.
The majority of the stumpies don't rate as the most agile primates living at the park. To help with their mobility and keep the weight off, they're on a carefully controlled diet, so today's something of a treat. Sean is going to let out the 2 newest members of the group first, Freddie and Toto, both more mobile than the others.
They're the lowest ranking in the group. It's just going to give them a few extra minutes to eat the corn before the more dominants come out and join them. Come on then, Toto, you ready to enjoy some corn? Well done, boys. Go on then, Freddie, you go and enjoy the corn.
Toto shows surprising agility as he bounces along one of the high poles, showing confidence when no one else is around. Freddie, though, has made a beeline for the corn and is getting stuck straight in. Since the pair arrived almost 2 years ago, it's been slow progress integrating them into this established group. Freddie has made more friends, but recently Toto has started to ingratiate himself more and more with some of the low rankers. He may look impressive, but underneath all that hair and fur, he needs a little help.
So just giving Toto some multi-milk. Even though he looks magnificent, under that coat he is still a little bit skinny. So we're just trying to fatten him up, get a few more extra calories on him, so he really does enjoy his multi-milk in the afternoon.
The rest of the group are let out, and immediately Toto keeps his distance from the more dominant members. He needn't have worried. All they're interested in is the food. Leader Sam makes short work of one stalk, while Sylvie and Kelly surround themselves with a mass of corn to tuck into. Flo makes full use of her cheek pouches, storing enough food for a snack later on. And even Toto is relaxed enough to eat near the rest of the group, although he keeps a watchful eye out. It's great to see Maureen tucking in too. She's recently recovered from a long and complicated dental procedure, which seems to have worked well.
She's recovering slowly but surely, and we're seeing some really good progress. She's starting to eat more, she's pouching on both sides, which is a really good indication that the operation has worked. So there still might be a few dental issues. We're keeping a close eye on her, but she was even outside today enjoying the corn scatter.
Jonathan and Flo finish off with a bit of grooming.
Grooming's a very good social occurrence with these guys. It makes you cement partnerships with both the high rankers and low rankers, so you really need to make friends to stay in with the group. So grooming is just one of the things that keeps these guys occupied throughout the day. It just removes any kind of like gnats or dust or particles or anything that's matted within the hair, so it's really good that they just keep each other tip-top condition.
The corn has gone down well with all the group, giving them an extra spring in their step for the afternoon ahead.
Good morning.
It's 4:30 in the morning Turkish time, and Alison and wildlife vet John Lewis have arrived at the Faruk Yalçın Zoo for the most important part of their trip so far. John is about to anaesthetise chimp Toprish, so that she can be put into her transport box ready for the long journey back to Dorset.
Right, I'm going to go and scratch a chimpanzee for a bit.
Okay, I'm going to label a box.
Toprish is awake, alert and comfortable in John's company.
Good girl. Okay.
It's now or never.
Right. Hello, if we go and do the injection and see, and if everybody else stays here.
John is going to attempt to anaesthetise Toprish by hand injection. Training primates to accept this can take months. But Toprish is very accepting of John.
Yes. We're good.
With the drug delivered, it's just a matter of waiting a few minutes for it to take effect. As soon as John is satisfied that she's under, he can get to work.
Yep.
And my bag, please.
Before Toprish is put into her transport box, John wants to check her vital signs.
Right.
And he immediately notices there's a buildup of fluid in one of her air sacs.
So I think we will, A, speed this up as much as possible.
It doesn't signify too much cause for concern, but he's not taking any chances. He quickly continues with the checkup, taking blood samples for later analysis.
And surgical spirit on the swabs.
And performing a tuberculin test.
She should have a big red blob. That will go down very quickly.
Once he's satisfied, he gives the all clear for Toprish to be placed into the travel box. The team must wait until the young chimp comes round from the anaesthetic in case John needs to step in. But Toprish is fine, and now she can be loaded onto the van ready for the journey to Istanbul airport. Alison is pleased with how everything has gone.
She's looking good. She's a little bit drunk, which is exactly what we wanted her, nice and calm in the box. She's got blankets in there. I've got some food, so hopefully at the airport before we hand her over to customs, we can at least get one last look, give her a little bit of food and breakfast. And then next stop, UK.
There's a long day and a long journey ahead. But for Toprish, it's the beginning of a new life, finally living with others of her own kind for the first time since being stolen from the wild. Next time on Monkey Life. Alison arrives back at the park with rescued chimpanzee Toprish, and the team are there to greet her.
Hey, Toprish. Hey, you. You're a good girl.
And Marmoset Freya shows she's well on the way to a full recovery. Today on Monkey Life, Alison arrives back at the park with rescued chimpanzee Toprish, and the team are keen to greet her.
Hey, Toprish. Hey, you. You're a good girl.
Marmoset Freya is on the road to recovery following an operation to repair a damaged leg.
It's a really great success and the vet did a brilliant job. So yeah, it's great for Freya.
And as yet another year at the park passes, more rescued primates settle into their new home. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Got one.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 22 different species. It's almost midnight and the park is bustling with activity as Alison arrives with a new chimpanzee to add to the 52 the team already care for. Young female Toprish has been travelling for almost 24 hours since leaving Faruk Yalchin Zoo in Turkey, accompanied by Alison and wildlife vet John Lewis. Throughout the journey, she's been confined to her transport box. And now Alison has her home, she's keen to get her out and settled in as quickly as possible.
It's been a long trip home just because we had to get to the airport in Istanbul so early this morning in order to process the papers. So by the time we get her unloaded, it's going to be 24 hours.
Toprish will eventually be joining Paddy's group at the Pavilions. It's currently undergoing a major refurbishment, in part to accommodate such new arrivals.
Okay, let's bolt her on and get her out.
The new chimp will be given plenty of time to settle in and adjust to her new surroundings, and all the new faces that come with it.
Hey, Toprish. Hey, you. You're a good girl.
The majority of the team who will care for her have come in to get a look at the new arrival. It's very exciting, as the last chimp rescue was Kiki, who arrived from Lebanon almost 8 years ago. With the transport box in position, the slide can be opened to allow Toprish into her new home.
Good girl. Come on in. Come on in. Okay, you can drop slides and close doors.
She makes her presence known by hooting. But probably didn't expect such a reaction and reply from the 16 other chimps who make up the group, as well as the noisy bachelors next door.
Who's that?
Once over the initial surprise, Toprish begins to explore her surroundings. She seems at home and at ease in the company of the primate care team. She's used to people having lived as a house pet after being illegally stolen from the wild. But as she's never lived in an adult chimpanzee group, the introductions to come will need to be carefully managed to give Toprish as much time as she needs to adjust and to keep any stress or anxiety to a minimum.
She's had some food and drink. She doesn't appear overly fazed by all of Paddy's, Cindy's group at this point. That's all good, but it just goes to show how naive she is. So she's a very nice person, but, you know, completely clueless at this point. So we'll have to be cautious with the introductions. There's no way of predicting how any of them are gonna react. Who's gonna welcome her with open arms? Who's gonna have a little bit of an issue with her joining the group, or, you know, how good she's gonna be. You look at her and think, oh, you know, she's just doesn't get it at all, and she's too human focused, but you never know. She might just turn around and be brilliant, so just have to hope that the rest of this plays out as we hope.
It's been a long day and night for all concerned. Time for everyone to get some rest. Tomorrow, the process of introducing Toprish to her new life will continue. It's been a busy and interesting year at the park's new Loris complex, and it's showing no sign of slowing down. A few days ago, the team welcomed its newest member, Bengal slow loris Nora. She was rescued in Beirut after being advertised for sale on social media via a pet shop there. She was eventually confiscated by the authorities and months later arrived at Monkey World. The Loris complex currently houses 2 pairs of these nocturnal primates, Nikki and Axel, and Boo and Bruce.
The loris here are all Bengal slow loris, as is our new arrival. These guys are from Southeast Asia. They're a nocturnal primate, and they're actually procilians rather than monkeys. They're one of those species that actually there's not a lot of information out there. There are very few zoos that keep them in captivity. Yeah, there's really not a lot of info when we look up these guys and try and research them and their behaviours and things known about them. Which has made it very interesting and also a little bit tricky for us. Obviously, lack of information isn't ideal, but it's been really interesting observing these guys and getting to know loris and loris behaviour.
The team are going to introduce youngster Nora to Boo and Bruce in the hope the pair will adopt her as their own. She's still very young, but with so little known about loris behaviour, no one knows how they'll react to her. Nora has been living in a bedroom next door to Boo and Bruce, so they've been able to smell and hear one another. The team have adapted one of the rooms for her.
We've made sure we've put up plenty of branches so that she can move around nice and easily. So a lot of browse in the enclosure means that she's got areas she can hide if it's all a little bit too much for her as well.
As the lorises are nocturnal, the introductions are carried out under red light conditions. To keep everything as calm as possible, they've decided to introduce Nora to female Boo first, to see how they get on.
Okay, nosy.
With the slide open, an inquisitive Boo makes her way through. Immediately, Nora beats a hasty retreat. But curiosity soon gets the better of her, and she heads into Boo's room to explore. Boo is in no rush to meet the youngster, moving slowly and deliberately in true loris fashion, stopping every so often to smell Nora's scent.
It's all very slow, very calm currently. There's no vocalisations that we've heard so far, either positive or negative. So everyone's just kind of sniffing their opposite rooms and kind of get a smell of each other. No close contact or no interest massively yet.
But after a few minutes of back and forth, it's little Nora who plucks up her courage to make the first approach. She begins following Boo everywhere, and surprisingly, makes threatening vocalizations towards her. Boo is wary and keeps her distance.
Not at all what I expected to happen. I really didn't think it would be Nora that was making the vocalizations first, but it may be nerves, it may be she's just not quite happy with the situation, but she's the one that's approaching Boo, so it's a little bit confusing at the minute, so we'll just wait and see.
The team decide to call it a day before anything really negative occurs. Steph entices Nora back into her bedroom with tasty grubs and insects. It looks like the introductions might be a slow process, but they're determined to keep at it and try again soon. A few weeks ago, one of the park's newest arrivals, Jeffroy's Marmoset Freya, injured herself, possibly as the result of a fall. The local vet was called, and after an examination and X-ray, discovered she had a dislocated ankle and fractured hock joint. Vet Thazar managed to stitch everything back together, but it was touch and go if the leg would heal. Freya was put on cage rest away from the distraction of other marmosets, and now she's on the mend.
Really great news for Freya because she's using that leg and it's coming back to full strength again. So it's a really great success and the vet did a brilliant job. So yeah, it's great for Freya.
Her recovery has gone so well, she's now been reunited with her housemates. Fred, who, like Freya, is one of only 4 Jeffroy's marmosets at the park, and Sammy, an elderly common marmoset. This established pair have been together for a few years and are no strangers to welcoming new arrivals.
Really, really nice, happy pair. They've actually helped rear youngsters that have been brought in and rescued into the park. So they actually reared Leo when he was healthy enough to be put with other marmosets. They helped rear him. And then they also looked after Luna as well when she first came in.
Back together in their spacious outdoor enclosure, the trio are getting on really well. Freya is especially fond of Sammy, spending a lot of time by her side. At first, Fred, used to having Sammy all to himself, occasionally got a little miffed that he didn't have her full attention. But now he's also enjoying Freya's company too. Considering the damage to her leg, Freya is moving around the enclosure remarkably well. With all that she's been through in her short life, she's still a well-adjusted and lively little character.
Freya she's quite chilled out really. She's really quite placid. A lot of marmosets that come into us at Monkey World haven't lived with marmosets before, and you can tell that in their behaviour. They don't know how to react to others, whereas Freya must have lived with marmosets because she understands everything that's happening, she understands their behaviours, but she doesn't overreact to anything. So she's actually quite a calm, chilled out marmoset. She's really nice.
The future for this threesome is looking bright.
Yeah, they are a nice compatible trio, I think. They just seem to get on well. It's really nice. They bed down together. We've seen them go into the same nest box at night together, which is a real massive positive. And hopefully it will continue to go really well for them.
It's been quite a year for the park's 3 woolly monkey groups. Following a major reshuffle in which 14 of the 19 either moved or swapped groups, they've all settled down and life is pretty harmonious.
Everybody's doing really well. The groups are really stable at the moment. Everybody seems healthy and happy. So really pleased with how they've adapted to all the changes.
The Top Woolies group, led by elderly male Levar, has been particularly busy with the arrival of 2 new babies in the last 6 months. First, experienced mum Zingu gave birth to Layla, and just a couple of months ago, first-time mum Ava produced her own little bundle of joy, a male named Lemmy by the team, following the park's tradition of using the first letter of the father's name.
He's doing fantastically well. Ava has surprised us all, to be honest. She's taken to motherhood really, really well. We were all a little bit nervous at the beginning to see how she'd cope and if she'd do all the right things, but we are super proud of her. And he's really bright-eyed, he's really curious, he's starting to try and reach out and touch things, so both of them are doing fantastic.
While Ava is understandably very protective of her first child, 13-year-old mum Zingu is more relaxed when it comes to her daughter Layla.
The difference between Layla and Lemmy you can really see because Zingu's just let Layla get on and do what she wants from day one. She is a very caring and protective mum, so she's always keeping a close eye on her little one, but she just lets her get off, have a run around, interact with the other individuals in the group, which she was doing at really early stage, even a couple of months old, she was already off exploring. So yeah, you can just see the difference in the 2 little ones from the early stages really, but as I say, hopefully Lemmy will soon find his feet and Ava will relax into motherhood.
One youngster who didn't have the benefit of a devoted mother is Cosmo. He was rejected by first-time mum Isla and hand-reared by the staff. At 6 months old, he was integrated into Levar's group, where he's thrived. But he did take his time summoning up the courage to venture into the caged outdoor enclosure.
Cosmo is also doing fantastically well. He's grown into a really strong, confident young man now, and he's got the whole going inside and outside down now. He's enjoying the outside, all the sunshine, the nicer weather, interacting with everybody in the group really, really well. So we're hoping that it won't be too long before we can actually let him go into our big forest enclosure and explore everything that that has to offer and all the big high trees as well.
With more than half the world's captive population of woolly monkeys resident at the park, it's hoped the three groups will continue to flourish. It's only been a few hours since chimp Toprish arrived at the park after a long journey from Istanbul. Alison and Lisa from the primate care team are keen to see how she's settling in and what she makes of the 16 noisy neighbours close by.
Good mornings. So chill. Good mornings. Good girl.
Toprish seems unfazed by her new home and housemates, although it will be a while before she has any physical contact with any of the chimps.
She's just a lovely lady and sort of bomb-proof at the moment. I'm hoping this sticks... Am I getting a laugh out of you? I'm hoping this carries on when she meets the other chimps and that her optimistic and blasé attitude about life carries on once she starts meeting chimps, because they can be a bit full on. And I'd like to get her out of the bedrooms, but we have to begin the introduction process first. So early days, but I'm hopeful that she's going to be a really nice addition to a group that's really sort of getting old and getting quiet and sedate. And I'm hoping that she's going to bring a breath of fresh air into that group. Aren't you?
Alison and the team don't normally physically interact so much with the park's chimps. But Toprish is humanised after spending years living as a house pet, and the team don't want to make a drastic change to her routine just yet.
This is a completely brand new experience for her. It's not like anything she's had before. She's not been around anywhere near as many chimps as this before. She's not heard as many chimps to this. Obviously, the facilities itself is different, and just moving facility can be a big thing for any animal of any background. We just want to make sure that everything remains nice and positive for her, and she realises this is her home. She can be nice and settled here. So it's important that we make sure that she stays comfortable and she realises that she can relax here and just completely be herself.
To reassure Toprish and gain her trust, Jeremy is paying her a visit.
Good mornings.
Hello, Toprish. Who are you? Good girl.
She's pleased to meet him.
Loose now. Come on. Loose now. Oi. You have to give a bit. You have to give a bit as well. Oh, is that it? All right.
Toprish busies herself grooming Jeremy, showing natural chimp behaviour.
I think she's a dab hand. She's obviously done that before. Clearly knows her way around people's heads. Don't know whether I've passed the test or not. Only time will tell.
Obviously, we want her to be a chimp, and that's the main aim of her coming here, is we want her to act like a chimpanzee and be in one of our groups and be one of the family in there. But we need to make sure we've got a relationship with her. Any chimp in captivity doesn't work if you haven't got a relationship with the chimps. We need to make sure that she knows that you go to other chimps for anything that you need, but she still needs to come over to us as well and know that she can trust us to do things like showing injuries. I think she'll naturally pick that up anyway. We've got good relationships with all the other chimps here. And once she sees that they're trusting us and she's made a few friends with them, she'll realise that it's fine to be friends with the keepers. But I think she's going to cope absolutely fine with it.
Chimp Toprish may be the latest arrival, but she isn't the only one to have found a home at the park this year. It's been a busy time all round.
Yeah, that's a little boy. He's quite a baby.
You are cute.
The small monkey team had the most newbies to accommodate, with 2 more marmoset refugees from the British pet trade needing help.
Hi, little girl.
Common marmoset Amy moved in with ready-made family Milo, Clydie and Caesar. And Alison rescued Jeffroy's marmoset Freya, who was found climbing scaffolding on a block of flats in London.
Hello, missus. Oh, good girl. Hello.
The squirrel monkeys also welcomed 4 newcomers. Logan, Lucille and Lopez were rescued by Jeremy from appalling conditions in Somerset. And female Nueve, ousted by her group at Chessington Zoo, found new friends at Monkey World. Desmond and his son Tutu arrived to join Saki monkey Chloe, who needed companionship of her own kind.
Are you happy, Chloe?
But the most unusual and rare arrivals are Benny and Nia, 2 red-bellied, white-throated guenons stolen from the forests of Benin.
Hey, missus. Benny and Nia.
Alison went to Lebanon to collect them following their confiscation by the authorities there. Sadly, along with the thrill of new arrivals came the sadness of departures, including young chimp Ben. Born at the park and with the potential to be a leader in the future, his death came as a real shock. The team also said goodbye to Capuchin Tao. Rescued from the pet trade in a very poor state, he had 7 happy years before his condition deteriorated.
It's time to call it a day, but it's not right.
But perhaps the most overwhelming loss this year was Chimp Sally.
What's that?
Matriarch of the chimp nursery.
Never mind me, look shameless.
She spent 25 years here and was an iconic character, and a close friend to Jeremy, who will miss her most of all.
You've got your work cut out there, Sal.
But life at the park goes on, and there was lots of fun for its residents. And there's plenty to look forward to. Soon Toprish won't be the only new chimp at the park. Alison is about to be reunited with Nari, a female she tried to rescue 15 years ago from Thailand. And this time, she'll be bringing her home to Monkey World.